You are tuned to B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios. We have another special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove with Maya. Maya, who's on the phone? Who's on the Skype with us?
Tyler Labine.
Oh my gosh, Tyler Labine from New Amsterdam. Oh my gosh, we are so excited to talk to Maya. Take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to tell you how excited I am to be talking to you right now.
Oh, yeah, me too.
New Amsterdam is one of my favorite shows, and Eggy makes me laugh and cry.
Yeah, that's my goal. It's always, I want to run the emotional gamut, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear it, though. Thank you.
Yeah. So my first question for you is, who or what inspired you to start acting?
Well, who inspired me to start acting was probably my older brother, Cam. I have two brothers. I'm a middle kid, and my older brother is a writer and director still to this day. And we started making movies together when I was like 8. We had a video camera, and he would write these little like silly, movie ideas. Actually, we would write them together mostly, and then we would like hold auditions for kids in the neighborhood. We would we would make these movies, the ridiculous movies in our basement, but it was like kind of a big deal. Everybody in the neighborhood had to like get a part in the movie, and if you didn't, it was like, ouch. So we started doing that, and we really enjoyed it, and my little brother too, my little brother Kyle, and we started making like franchise movies, like making like sequels and threequels to all these like weird little things we're doing. And my mom finally said, "Hey, do you guys want to like do this for real?" And we were like, "What do you mean? We are doing it for real." And she was like, "No, like, do you want to go downtown Toronto and get an agent?" And we were like, "What is an agent? I have no idea." So the inspiration came from my brother, I think, kind of always pushing us to be in his movies, and then my mom kind of was the catalyst for actually getting it going. And then as I honestly didn't think I was going to be an actor. I wanted to be a teacher. I was going to teach drama and English, and I went to school after high school for a little bit to go do that. And then I got a TV show, and I started realizing as I was acting that maybe I was an okay actor. I didn't think I was ever going to be good enough to be an actor for a living, and I just have had the good fortune of like learning on set. So like I still have days where I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Maya, do you think he's an okay actor or a little better than okay?
I think a little better than okay.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take a little better than okay. I can swallow that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to like give too much of an ego.
Yeah, there you go. She don't want to build you up too much.
Yeah.
Don't worry. My ego is very fragile, and it's very humble. Yeah.
So what's your favorite part about playing Eggy Frome in New Amsterdam?
It's interesting. It's kind of changed for me. It's morphed. In the beginning, I felt like it was a real opportunity to work on drama, and I've done a lot of comedy in my life, in my career. Most people know me for my comedy movies and TV, and someone was like handing me a drama to do, and I thought, oh man, I got so much to prove as a dramatic actor. I want to like go in there and take these big swings for the fences and like try and prove to everybody I can act dramatically, and I really enjoyed it. Like, can I help you do anything? So my wife just walked into the room.
That's okay. No big deal.
Hey, come here. This is my wife, Carrie. This is Maya.
Hi, Maya.
Yeah.
Hi, you too.
Hi, Carrie. Just so you know, you're talking to Olive Children's Hospital, Colorado.
Yeah. She's got a New Amsterdam sweater on.
Nice.
Represent. Nice.
Sorry to
You need to give me that. Yeah, sure.
I'm just doing this, and I'm taking Gabriel. Goodbye. Nice meeting you, Maya.
You too.
Oh, they can't come in here. Tell them to go the other way. Sorry, I have a monitor. My 3-year-old is sleeping. It's busy the household over here. So anyway, it started out as like a real challenge that I was relishing, to be a dramatic actor. And then it's really, my favorite thing about it now is that it's like therapy for me. There's a lot of things in the scripts and in this character that are very real for me. You'll see in some stuff that's coming up in the next few episodes that are really touch really close to home. So it's become this really challenging but very sort of cathartic and therapeutic role for me, and I really like it. It's also taught me to be much more, I think, patient, and I can listen a lot better now to my own children, and it's good. It's been a good learning experience for me.
Cool. So, do you have any fun stories from the set?
Ooh.
That you can share with Children's Hospital Colorado.
Obviously, yes.
I like adding the full name.
Well, Children's Hospital Colorado. I think, the funny thing on a set like this, I know everyone's always like, is there like a prankster? Is there a joker on the set? There isn't. If there was one, it's probably Jocko, who you're talking to next, right? Yeah. He's a bit of a prankster. But no, like good stories I think would be like, well, here's one. We had to shoot a scene last season where Ryan is being airlifted via helicopter to the helipad at New Amsterdam, and Helen Sharp comes out and tells us all that he has cancer, and we're like all standing in the wind of this helicopter, like, trying to our best to not just make this face.
Right, because they're so windy.
Yeah, and we were all out there. We hadn't all been on set together in like months at that point because we all have such little, side storylines. So it was me, Janet, Freema, Ryan, Jocko, Anupam, Sabrina, who was Dora from last year, Casey, who plays, Alejandro, who plays Casey. And I think we had, Nana was there, and we just could not stop goofing off. Like there was at no point was the director happy with us because we couldn't keep it together because we hadn't been on set together in so long that we literally got reprimanded. We all got like gathered together by the director and the ADs, and they said, "Hey, listen, you guys got to pull it together, man. All right? I know you're all happy to see each other." It was like they were talking to a bunch of like fourth graders. Like we were all just like giddy little kids. So that every time we're on set now together, which doesn't happen that often, it's like everyone's like, "Oh boy, it's going to be one heck of a day," because we can't concentrate. We're all too busy catching up and cracking each other up and being total goofballs. So that's the kind of camaraderie there is between all of us.
That's so cool. Before I forget, I wanted to tell you, Deirdre says hi.
Hi, Deirdre. She's my favorite. Don't you love her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually talking to her last night. She's another one who's got a very fragile ego. She's always very concerned that she's not doing as well as she could, on the show. And I constantly have to tell her, like, you're so good. She's so talented. So it's funny. The most talented people are the most insecure ones. You'll find that the more people you interview.
Yeah. So are there any similarities between you and Eggy?
Yeah, sure. Like Eggy was written as a very sort of compassionate, caring, but ultimately kind of a schlubby, sort of like goofy, messy, absent-minded character. And I didn't like that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to play him as this like really kind of, constantly sort of like spilling things, and like, his desk is a mess and he's like, can't kind of keep it together. Because I was like, that. I feel like that goes against what is great about this character, is that he's really good at his job. So in the beginning, they had him written as a bit more of this, like, he's like always dropping things and late for work. And I'm not like that. I'm very regimented, especially with my work. I'm very on time. I'm very prepared. I'm hyper vigilant about doing the work, So I think they started to see that in me and started to write a little bit more like that with Iggy. And because I really didn't want to play that we sort of found this nice sort of symbiotic sort of relationship between me and Eggy, where I've really informed the character and they've really informed me as a person, you know, like how to play this character. So yeah, there's a lot of crossover with Eggy that I feel like is much more like me than it was in the beginning now.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah. So,
also he is still very goofy and I'm very goofy. So that's good. That's a good similarity.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Little Evil is one of my favorite movies.
I almost wore my Little Evil hoodie for this interview. That's so funny.
Yeah. And so it cracks me up. So did you ever have to do multiple takes of scenes because it was so hard not to crack up?
We had to do quite a few where I was cracking Adam Scott up. Yeah, we just met to do that movie. And I don't know if you know, the writer and director wrote and directed another movie of mine called Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Yeah. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was in Little Evil. And so Eli, the director, just like asked me to come in as like a cameo role. And Adam Scott and I had never met each other. We had mutual friends, but I came in and I really wanted to impress him because I think he's a fantastic actor. And so I came in with like a lot of stuff written, like a lot of ad libs and a lot of little jokes that I'd written. And because I know Eli so well, he was like, yeah, do whatever you want. Just mess with Adam Scott. So a lot of that stuff is improv in those takes where I just sort of was coming up with things on the fly. And yeah, Adam on the other side of it was really cracking up. But I don't crack very often. I'm really hard to crack because I'm the one who's always trying to crack everybody. So it's hard to make me laugh. But I like making other people laugh. So yeah, there were many multiple takes and lots of cuts being called because Adam couldn't keep it together.
So you guest starred in both Royal Pains and Kevin Probably Saves the World. And yeah. I loved those shows. And you've been in so many amazing TV shows and movies. Have you had a favorite character you've played or a favorite project?
Yeah, well, the character Sock from Reaper, which I reprised my role in Kevin Probably Saves the World. That's one of my favorites. I don't know if you know that is a role from another show that I played. Did you know that?
No.
So Tara Butters and Michelle Fazekas, who created Kevin Probably Saves the World, created a show that I started in called Reaper that was on the CW a few years before. And those characters, the guys who they go to see in our weird little bomb shelter, we were the two leads of the other show, Reaper, named Sam and Sock. So that was us 10 years later reprising those roles from our series from before. So that character for me, Sock, Burt Wysocki from Reaper, which you should watch if you've never seen it. It's very funny. Kevin Smith directed it and produced it, and those girls wrote it. And they also, their new show, Emergence, they wrote that show, Emergence, that's on now too. Oh, cool. That character was one of my favorite characters of all time because it was like a very big learning experience for me. I was just learning what my sort of limitations were, if I had any, with being sort of like the gross out sidekick. So I just was like, it was a constant state of like growth. I was like, how far can I push this? What can I do before people say, "Oh, that's too far. You went too far," and they just never did. So I just kept going and going and going. So that character is pretty ridiculous. And then Dale from Tucker and Dale versus Evil for sure is one of my favorites of all time. And then my character Kevin Paglioglu from Deadbeat, which was my show on Hulu for 3 seasons. That was sort of the culmination of like all those roles, the stoner guy, sidekick, best friend, sad sack, chubby, whatever, all the things that they like to pigeonhole people as. We took them all and put them all into one role, and I got to just go full tilt on that one, and that was really fun. So I love those roles.
Oh, cool.
And now Eggy obviously is kind of ruling my world, so.
Yeah. So you were in the show Reaper. What was your favorite part about being on that show?
On Reaper?
Yeah.
Hi, there's my daughter Maya. We were shooting in Vancouver, Canada, BC, which is my hometown. And I hadn't lived there in many years, so it was really nice to go home and shoot 3 seasons of a show there, 2 seasons, I should say. And Brett Harrison and Rick Gonzalez, who were my co-stars, and Missy Peregrine, became some of my best friends in my life on that show. And it was great. It was amazing. And Ray Wise, who played the devil on that show, was he's a genius. He's still a good friend of mine too, but he was a genius. And it was just like I said, it was one of those times in my life where I decided to really learn as much from it as I could. And I got to soak up a lot of knowledge over almost 3 years doing that show, working with fantastic people. So yeah, it was the work environment and the character. I love the character.
Oh, cool. So you were in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and that movie is so funny. What drew you to a horror movie spoof?
The name. It was pretty immediately I was like, this is one of two things. It's ridiculously bad or ridiculously good. So I had to read it. I had to read a movie called Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I mean, you don't leave that one sitting on your desk. And I think what also drew me to it after I read the script was that at that time, I think I'd only been a lead in like 2 movies. They were really obscure, Canadian independent films or whatever. And this was somebody offering me what I thought was a really amazing lead role of a movie without falling into stereotypical sort of leading man territory. I was still able to be this sweet, simple, chubby, kind of, it was me. They were asking me to be a leading man, and as is, and that really appealed to me. And because you don't see a lot of that, there's this idea of what a leading man is supposed to look like. And I'm like, I know a lot of men. I don't know very many men that look like Chris Hemsworth. So, or Jude Law or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, I was really happy to sort of represent the average man as a leading man. And also I thought the content of the script, I'd never seen that joke done. And I thought if we could pull it off, it could be really great.
Oh, cool.
So that's why,
yeah. So are you a horror movie fan?
Yes. Very much, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, my sister is. I can't handle horror movies.
You can't?
No.
What, name one that you've seen that you at least liked a little bit.
She's going to give you a Disney movie that's not actually scary.
Well, I can give you thrillers that I love. I like thrillers, but I don't like actual horror movies.
Well, maybe I should rephrase that. I don't love slasher flicks either. I don't love gore fest films like that. I love psychological thrillers, and I love horror movies that deal with a lot of tension. And maybe issues of good versus evil, not there's a guy with a giant knife running around killing people in a mask. I don't find that scary or interesting, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually have 4 favorite thrillers. So
tell me your favorite thrillers.
Okay, so there's Rapid Eye Movement.
I don't know that one.
That's a Netflix movie. No, it's not?
Okay.
No, it's not.
Shows you what I know.
Yeah, it's really good. And then there's one called Berserk with James Roday and Nick Cannon. Okay. And then Babysitter's Nightmare. And then the Netflix one, Dismissed.
Dismissed?
Dismissed.
These are all movies I've never heard of. I'm gonna have to check them out. I know of the one with James Roday and Nick Cannon, but I've never seen it. That sounds cool. What do you like about thrillers? You like that it's more cerebral?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the ones that kind like, they won't freak me out if you can kind of talk yourself down from it. Like, no, this can't actually happen. Like, Babysitter's Nightmare actually really freaked me out until my mom kind of talked me down and rationalized it with me. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I really like this movie now that it doesn't completely terrify me. Yeah, so you play both comedic and dramatic roles. Is there one that you prefer?
That's an interesting question. I think as I'm getting older, I'm gaining a lot more perspective on life and what it means, and with children of my own and everything. It's funny, you start to realize what humor is at the heart of it. A lot of it is a defense mechanism. A lot of it is a way to deflect attention from serious things that hurt you or feel uncomfortable. And I think I used humor throughout my life very effectively to sort of hide behind, which I think is why most comedians, if given the opportunity to do dramatic work, do it really well. Because to know what's funny, you really need to know what's not funny. So it's been a weird thing, like realizing that, like, I thought I loved comedy because I was really good at it. But what I really, really enjoy is playing characters like this, which is much more grounded, because life is funny and tragic at the same time. No one is always full tilt funny or all full tilt melodrama. So I think I really prefer something in the middle. I don't like one more than the other. I like when I get the opportunity to play both. I will say this, though. Comedy is very cutthroat. It's a really competitive and cutthroat end of the business where people are really not very nice to each other. And it's like, to be funny and be on top, there's a very, very, very small crowd of people that get to do that. And half the time, they're not even that funny. No offense to all the people that are out there. But with drama, I feel like there are a lot of other ways to achieve what you're trying to achieve with drama. It's not just got to get a laugh here. There are varying degrees of emotion, and there are lots of pauses and like natural sort of breaths that we take, where comedy is just like all about go, hit them with the funny. So drama has a little bit more breath to it, I think, which has been a nice thing for me to realize, that I can just slow down a little bit. It's been nice.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So is there a show that... Oh, well, sorry, I skipped a question.
Don't do that.
Yeah. So do you have any upcoming projects you can share with us?
I don't have any right now, to be honest. I had a bunch last year that I shot. I had Escape Room and Super Troopers 2 and Broken Star come out because I wanted to get as many movies in the can that I could for like my off season for this show. But this, in between season 1 and 2, I just wanted to hang out with my wife and kids and not do anything, because we shoot for almost 10 months out of the year for New Amsterdam, and it really takes it out of you. And we shoot in New York, and my family and my wife and kids live in California, so I don't get to be with them as much as I'd like to. So I don't have anything right now, which is kind of scary, but also kind of nice.
Yeah,
I'm working on developing some stuff, and there is some Tucker and Dale stuff in the works that we're currently working on getting out to pitch right now. So some sequel type stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
Yeah. I just finished binging Great British Baking Show. This season 7. I don't know if you watched that show, but I'm super addicted to that. I didn't binge it though, because they release it one episode at a time. So I just finished the show. But binging wise, I guess I recently went on a binge of that Living with Yourself with Paul Rudd on Netflix. Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't had much time to binge on things, so I work too much. What about you? What you binged recently?
Oh, My mom and I just recently finished binge watching Raising Deon.
Oh, I heard that's cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. That kid was at a hockey game with me and my friend like 3 weeks ago. It's a little kid, Deon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he kept yelling basketball references at the hockey players. I don't think he'd ever been to a hockey game before. It was pretty cute.
At least he knew like basketball things.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know any. So
yeah. It's a different thing. Basketball, you can kind of yell like dribbling or I don't know what they yell, but hockey you just sort of yell profanities at each other. I'm Canadian. I grew up on hockey. I have to follow suit.
So what is your biggest pet peeve?
The biggest pet peeve in this world is people treating their time like it's more valuable than mine. And that's just across the board. I never want to waste anyone's time because I recognize that time is our only true currency. It's the only thing that we have a finite amount of. We all have the same timeline. We should all be valued exactly the same, but people don't. People tend to think that their schedule or their agenda is more important than yours because of X, Y, and Z. And that makes me so mad. I can't stand it. It happens a lot in my industry, to be honest. Actors and people who show up late for set and directors and people with egos who think that everyone will wait around for them. I can't stand that.
It's bad manners.
It's bad manners, but it's just beyond that. It's like, it just makes me mad. It just makes me so mad because there is nothing more there's no greater equalizer than time. You know what I mean? Like we all have time. It's the same time frame, so that's my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah. So what personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
My troublemaker personality trait? Probably my desire to, impulse control is a big one for me, especially as a kid. Everyone thought I had attention deficit or hyperactive, all that stuff. But I think, which I maybe did, but I think at the end of the day, what really got me in the most trouble was probably my sense of mischief. Coupled with my my problems with authority. Yeah, I always like to sort of get into trouble to like make a point. You know what I mean? Yeah, to stick it to the man, as it were. So yeah, whatever that's called, that's got me literally in the most trouble. Like, in some pretty deep trouble.
So if you could marry a fictional character, who would it be and why?
If I could be a non-fictional character?
If you could marry a fictional character.
Oh, a fictional character. Marry a fictional character would be. I'm married to the woman of my dreams, right? So I don't like to think about what I'm looking for.
Well, then I think that's your answer.
Character.
Yeah.
That's your answer. That's your answer. She's already it.
She's not fictional though. She's real, and I got her. So that's good. That's good.
So who would play you in the movie of your life?
Who would play me in the movie of my life? I would like to say Chris Pratt. Like maybe Chris Pratt pre Guardians. Back when he had a little bit more of this going on. But I honestly, it's funny, a buddy of mine who is an amazing actor, Paul Walter Hauser, do you know him? He's going to be in the new Cruella movie with
We'll keep our eye out for him.
No, he's in tons of stuff. He was in I, Tonya. He played Sean Guitard. He's the bodyguard dude. He's in. He's got a new Clint Eastwood movie coming out that he's the star of, and then he's in Cruella with why can't I remember Emma Stone? He's playing her like in the new 101 Dalmatians live action movie. He's good. He's going to be huge. He's this up and comer, and he's really fantastic. And I worked with him on Super Troopers 2, and we become buddies. And I think he would be amazing to play me in the movie about my life. But then I want to play Meatloaf in a movie about his life. That's the deal. Yeah. Or Joe Cocker, one of the two.
So if you could have any song playing to announce your entrance into a room, what song would it be?
Any song playing as I walked into a room, it would probably be either Here Comes Your Man by the Pixies, or maybe it's a song called Come Clean by J. Rue the Damager. Look it up.
Okay. Cody, can you write that down?
I'll remind you, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Come Clean.
Thank you.
Look for the radio edit by J. Rue the Damager, or Here Comes Your Man by the Pixies. Here Comes Your Man by the Pixies. Do you know that song?
No.
Here comes your man. Here comes your man. Listen to it. It's one of the best feel-good songs of all time.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I will definitely listen to them. So what terrible movie do you secretly love?
Oh, man. I got a lot of those. I think I love mostly terrible movies. I love like Revenge of the Nerds is one of my favorite movies. I love 80s movies. So Bloodsport is one of my favorite movies. RoboCop is one of my favorite movies. These are, by some people's estimations, classics, but not by most.
Right.
I guess like movies like that that are like really considered to be bad that I really like are like Trolls 2. Do you know that movie?
What movie?
Trolls 2, it's called. Oh. It's basically regarded as the worst movie ever made. There was no Trolls 1. They went straight to Trolls 2, and it's widely regarded as like the worst movie of all time. So I love that movie. I love it to pieces. And I love Sleepaway Camp. That's a good, bad horror movie. Yeah.
Cool.
I also love like Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's not a bad movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're having a bad day, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
A lot of the time, if I'm having a bad day, like if I'm away in New York and I'm feeling blue, this is kind of silly, but you know how the new iPhone has these photo collages that they do, these video photo collages, where they add music to it. So I look at those with all my kids and my wife, and I put on like really sappy, like feel good crybaby music, and I play those over and over again, and just make myself feel really, really nostalgic for my family. And then also pizza. Pizza's a good one, especially in New York. I like the pizza. But no, generally, if I'm feeling really blue, I'll go to the gym. I go to the gym and I kick my butt at the gym, and I usually feel a lot better afterwards.
Oh, cool.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So, do you have a motto or quotation that you live by?
I do. I actually have one as an artist that I think is really, 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 really powerful and prevalent. It's from an old letter from Agnes DeMille, who was a big Hollywood silver screen star, to this young ingenue that she was working with. And she wrote this letter to the woman she was working with, assuring her that she was doing a good job in this film, and that she could stop being sort of a bit of a diva on set and demanding more takes and more attention. And in this letter, there's this one part of the quote that says, "For the artist, there is no satisfaction. There is only a queer divine dissatisfaction." And that always stuck with me, that there is, when you're creating art, there is never a tangible sense of right or wrong or perfection or failure. It's just sort of this, it's like this thing, this indescribable, queer, divine dissatisfaction. You walk away from every creative endeavor, especially as an actor, being like, I don't know. I feel great, but I don't know if it was good or bad. You just have to learn to enjoy it experientially and not be that concerned with the.
Go ahead.
It's a very weird to thrive, but I think that's where most artists do thrive.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real-life superhero and why?
A real-life superhero. I have been keeping my eye on Jon Bernthal a lot lately. Do you know Jon Bernthal, the Punisher? And it's from he's an actor that he's been in tons of stuff. Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I know his name.
Yeah, if you saw his face, you'd be like, oh, of course. He's been doing a lot of really, he lives up near where I live here in California, and he's been doing a lot of really great charity work very quietly for a long time that he's just sort of starting to make sort of visible. And I feel like that's the kind of superhero that we need more of, is like a quiet, charitable, kind of, philanthropic type of person that isn't looking for any sort of personal gain from their philanthropy, but just really needs to do it. And I have that in me, but sometimes you need to see other people like that and look to them for inspiration. So lately I've been really, really inspired by Johnny Bernthal. He's been doing a lot of really cool things. And I think he seems to be a real life superhero, especially for his kids and for his community. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I love talking to you.
I like talking to you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I still am kind of processing this.
That's okay. It's okay.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing with the whole hospital. We really appreciate it. And Maya keeps us updated on the show on New Amsterdam and all the comings and goings on there, so we enjoy that as well.
Good. Well, I hope you guys continue to enjoy the show and keep doing what you're doing. Keep reaching out to people and just snagging them for your podcast. I think that's really inspiring too. You really inspire me to see that you can accomplish things by just being direct and forward and asking for what you want. So good for you.
Thank you.
Awesome, Tyler. We'll talk to you later. Know that if you're ever here in Colorado, we'd love to have you swing by the Seacrest studio.
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure.
Have a good day.
All right. Have fun with Jocko.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.